Hi friends! If you click to check out the newest addition to the Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow palette family, the Rust eyeshadow palette alongside all the rest of the items in the kit, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you're returning, well, thank you so much for coming again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. I wanted to quickly say hello. How is everyone doing? Every video I film during this bizarre unsettling time, I always want to start off with that and always let you guys know that me continuing to film these types of videos does not mean that I'm disregarding what's happening or don't care or I'm not worrying. I am worrying, I am cautious, I am aware, but I do feel a lot of you expect or would like for me to continue creating content, and it does give me solace as well. I enjoy doing this work and I feel you enjoy watching it, and that's why I'm continuing doing so. I wanted to quickly make note of the update Melt Cosmetics has on their website here. It says, Melt fam, this has been a hard time for everyone. We will be following the Los Angeles emergency order and we will be temporarily closing our Melt Cosmetics online shop for all new orders. Our sale prices will be honored once we return. We can't wait to reopen online as soon as we can, but everyone's, including our staff's health and safety, is the most important thing right now. Thank you so much for understanding, and we will keep you updated. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. So this is affecting everyone, a lot of businesses, especially small ones, and perhaps I was lucky to grab this still because this was on launch day and I didn't want to get this, friends. A lot of you had convinced me that I didn't need this, and I even convinced myself that I didn't need it. I already own the original Rust stack, and many of you were like, I got my Biba, 27 kind of looks like it, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. You're right. Then I looked at the photos, and then I looked at Laura's and Dana's tutorials, and then I looked at the price. Now, when this becomes available again, the whole kit comes to $70. The eyeshadow palette itself retails for $58, and we'll go over further details on the shadow palette in a bit. The little eye pot gel liner product, Burnish, retails for $19. If you were to get the palette and the Burnish pot individually, the full retail value will be up to, like, subtracting, hello, will put you at $78. The kit, it's $70 and it includes 2 lipsticks. And those items individually with the lipsticks, palette, and eye pot will come up to a total value of $115. So I thought the $70 is expensive, and yes, more than $58 if you just wanted the eyeshadow palette. You might as well get the kit in my eyes. If you want this box, if you want the Burnish eye pot, the gel pot, it's quite gorgeous. I think this is a beautiful presentation of products. You have the like muted metallic finish on here, and it's gorgeous. So we'll go into all the product details, and of course, if you don't know, my videos, especially review ones, can be quite long, and that's why I have all timestamps down below, product details, swatches, comparisons, and the eye look. So if you wish to jump over to a specific portion, you're more than welcome to do so. So I bit the bullet, I got it, and perhaps when Melt reopens, you can see this video, decide if you want it or not, pass on it or wait for it until it's available again. Maybe you save for it, maybe you don't buy it, because these are hard times and buying makeup is probably not the best thing to do. But I know that we all love some retail therapy when we're at home. I understand. I bought what I bought, and I'm gonna wrap it up a little tighter now until this thing lessens in stress. Here we go. We have the Rust palette, and again, this retails for $58. You get 10 shadows in here. Total net weight, we're looking at 19.4 grams, the whole palette. So I could only assume that equals like a little less than a gram per pan, perhaps. And the ounceage is 0.68 for the whole palette. This box is recyclable. You have a suggested shelf life of 12 months. And this product is made in the USA. I'm hopping on to the product page. I believe this is also cruelty-free and vegan. It is vegan. Sorry, took me a while to find that information. The new Rust eyeshadow palette extended and greater than ever because you couldn't get enough of our #1 selling stack, which I have with me. 10 essential shades of warm neutrals and treasured metallics that weather the test of time. Burnt, worn, rusted, and rich. Open your eyes to a new era of rest. Next up, we have the Burnish gel liner that has a matte finish top that takes on the same shade of the gel liner. Ultra matte gel liner. Total weight comes in at 2.5 milliliters or 0.084 fluid ounces. This is made in Italy. Love you, friends. This retails for $19, and that's why I would suggest you just get the whole kit because, again, math. This is non-vegan, but I believe is cruelty-free. But does that mean it's cruelty-free? I'm sorry, I'm not well versed in those. And then we have 2 lipsticks here. I believe these shades are already existing in the Melt lipstick line. We have 1969, an ultra matte lipstick that I believe is one of their best-selling shades, if I'm not mistaken. And we have Mural, which is also ultra matte. Ooh, this is really nice too. Is Mural an already existing shade, however? I think this was already a part of the line, but correct me if I'm wrong down below. Oh yes, nothing's broken. We like that. And here is a look at the palette inside. And of course, we will most certainly do a quick glance comparison of the original Mama Jamma. Here's the original Rust stack paired with the now 10 pan palette. So you see that there are some shades that exist in the stack, but when we make these comparison swatches, friends, I'm very curious as to how consistent the formula is from stack to palette, because unfortunately we've seen, observed, and experienced that the shadow formula in the palettes isn't the greatest. Much better in the stacks, and that goes for the matte finish as well as the metallic finishes. But someone had said that the metallics are a lot better in this palette, so I'm actually excited to roll in. At this time, I will do swatches. I usually do them during my eye looks, but I just want to keep it separate if you just want to see swatches and not the eye looks necessarily. Classic, an ultra matte soft vanilla. Well, that feels real nice. Antique, an ultra matte peach. Oh, that feels really nice as well. Hero, which is new to the Rust family. Intense apricot matte. Rubbish in the original stack. Ultra matte Dijon mustard. Now these are swatching quite beautifully, but we gotta wait till and see how they blend on the eyeballs. Ooh, our first metallic tarnish is a vintage warm gold. Not bad. I'm quite surprised. It's still very lightweight, but we shall see. Rust, a deep terracotta matte. Next metallic up is Redox. It's a burnt copper metallic. Oh. Well now, that's pretty nice. Mar, a rich and sultry matte mahogany. Ravage, a deep bronze metallic. Ooh, that's a beautifully toned bronze. I love how they have both warm and cool toned bronzes in here. That's nice. That's nice. And lastly, we have Rot 2. To the second power. Is that how it is? New and improved. Rich chocolate brown. All right, so here are all the shades from the new Mel Cosmetics Rust. Here are all the swatches from the eyeshadow palette, and here's the original classic next to the one from the palette. I feel the one from the palette has a little more brightness to it, but these are, I've had these for a while, right? So I don't want to pin that observation on them because it could be maybe the pigment wears over time, but this is still a beautiful shade. It still feels buttery soft and very smooth. The original Antique next to the next to the palette Antique. I feel like the one from the palette, they're the same, but I feel the one from the palette is a little more peachy and the one from the stack a little more coral. I could be totally making that up as well. Next up, we have the original Rubbish next to the palette Rubbish. Looks like the one from the palette has a little more pigment. Okay, I'll take it. The original Rust next to the palette's Rust. I would say these are pretty consistent. This looks to be a little smoother, however, but we'll see how they all looks on the eyes. And lastly, the original Rot. Here we go. Just as I suspected, just from their description, if they said they enriched this color in depth and intensity, that the one from the stack will appear more chocolatey brown and the one from the palette more like a deep dark bark brown. Those are the comparisons. I would say there are slight shade differences as well as texture differences. I just want this palette to work out, okay? So I would say if you're good with your stack, keep your stack, because this is a phenomenal formula. And if you're good with just primarily having matte shades in your Rust eye look and then dipping out to use other metallics to match the ones in the Rust palette, if you wanted that metallic Rust moment mood, you can certainly do that. I just had to grab this because I have no self-control. Just thank you so much. I wanted to compare this palette to Biba. I feel Biba can have lots of Rust vibes and moods in here, primarily rustic. I wanted to compare the rustic shade with Mar, or Ravage, excuse me. This is Rustic from Natasha Denona's Biba, and then you have Ravage from Melt. So you see that the one from ND has a lot more of a golden tone to the hue, and the one from Melt is a lot more, I mean, like dark, rich bronze. I would say off the bat, Natasha Denona metallics are light years better than Melt metallics, especially the ones found in their palettes. But I have to say, Ravage does pretty well in smoothness and consistency compared to Natasha's Rustic. Not too bad. If you quickly wanted to see Tarnish from Melt, this is a lot lighter in hue. I would say this is a warmer type of a bronze from ND, and this is more of a gold bronze from Melt. Prairie from Biba takes on that mustard hue. Here's Erode from Melt and Rubbish from Melt. It seems that Prairie, it almost seems like it's a peachy mustard, and Rubbish is more of a truer mustard hue. Let's take a look at Freckle. Wanted to swatch Freckle next to Antique from Melt. I knew that was going to be totally off, but why not? And you can see right next to Rubbish here, Rubbish appears a lot more mustard in tone. This is more like a neutral brown. And of course, Seed and Rot from Melt next to Natasha's Seed. Oh wow, I mean, Rot looks black next to Seed. That's kind of crazy. I don't know if that's something that might disappoint you or excite you. If you wanted something more brown in tone from Melt, I mean, next to Seed it looks black, but Rot still does have like a brown base to it when you see it in the palette. Pasha, this red matte, next to Rust from Melt, and also Mar from Melt. Pasha appears a lot more red, and Rust, although one of the redder tones in the Melt palette, appears like it's more, it doesn't have that same red. This is like a brick type of red base, still neutral brown overall, but this looks even more brown next to Pasha from Natasha Denona. Those are my standout comparisons that I observed from both palettes. It'll be nice to do an eye look, Natasha Denona on this side, Biba, and then Melt on this side. Maybe that could be another video. And to quickly show you 27 from Melt next to Rust. So here is how both palettes look. You can see that there are some comparisons. I mean, standout ones will be Moonchild up against Rust, but Moonchild seems to be a lot more red. I really like 27 for the unique pinky mauve moments in here, paired with like the more vibrant red coral mattes in the palette. And I would say that Rust is a lot more like the name implies, mustardy, rusty, antique, reddish, brown. 27 is like coral, mauve, pink type. And quite frankly, the metallics, even just by swatch alone, appear, feel, and perform a lot better than the ones found in 27. For the sake of me not making this video 1,000 years long, I'm more than happy to put swatch comparison photo on the YouTube community board. Because I know a lot of you are like, I want to see the swatches. I'm like, okay. Let's get into this Burnish. Ooh. Look at that fresh. I don't even want to dip into this. I'm like, oh, I feel so like I'm breaking a rule or something. Here is, oh, yes. That looks gorgeous. Look at that texture. It's very moussey in feel. A little goes a long way. I clearly picked up too much, but just so you can see that color. And paired with some of these shades, oh my gosh. I will try to do a wing liner with this, but I want to put this on my lid. Forget the wing liner, friends. I'm going to put that on the lid to see what we could create with that like reddish. Oh, yes. I hope YouTube doesn't think that's blood now. Shoot. And a quick look at the lipsticks. Here is 1969. It's a very peachy type of nude that Dana actually applied on her cheeks for blush. So maybe we'll do that too. And here is Mural, which is more of like a mustardy type of finish. All right, let's clean up these arms and get a little closer. That's enough. And on the list for prep, I have the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. Oh, we gotta punch that in. So what happens when you got these very voluptuous lash lines? Let's start off easy with Classic and tap that on the brow bone. Really nice beige color. Why not on the inner corner as well? Ooh, that's lovely. Very true to its description. Nice vanilla matte. Antique with my Hakuhodo J5522. I'm gonna whip that in the crease. These are still very powdery. I would be careful as to how I tap my brush in the pan because it will have a lot of kick up. But that feels beautifully smooth, and I love the fact that you still see the peachy tone come through even when blended. That's nice. I'm putting a little more on the outer part of the eye. That's a look right there. You put on some lashes, or maybe you draw on a dark brown liner, or you could use any of the dark brown mattes in here, like Rot, for instance, with the small brush along the lash line, mascara, and you're done. I want to use a Erode as a transition shade, but I kind of want to see it as a lid color. Erode with my Esom W23. Let's just see what happens if we tap that on the inner part of our lid. Going back in a second time, because that's a really nice shade. That's a beautiful gradient and lovely combination. It's clearly evident despite the overwhelming rusty deep tones that exist in this palette. You could very much achieve a beautiful spring eye with the Rust palette. You just don't apply the deeper shades on here. With the peach, or rather Antique and Erode, beautiful combination. I have to see Rubbish in action. We're gonna hop over to this eye. Same Hakuhodo brush. I'm gonna whip that through. Make sure you tap the excess off because this is a very pigmented matte. But I have to say, it's pretty smooth. This is my third time going in, applying a little more on the outer V and just pulling out that color. Now it caught a little bit here because upon applying, I dip my brush on that area of my eye first, so that's where the majority of the eyeshadow caught. But for the most part, that is a gorgeous shade. That's a really beautifully toned mustard type of a matte. Now Rubbish with my Sona G Soft Shader. Tapping that on top of Antique, I want to see what depth can Rubbish offer if I were to tap it on instead of sweep it on one of the lighter mattes. I feel you got some color there. It's nothing significant. It probably just covered up the space that was still bare. That's a nice kind of a sitch we got going on. Esom S33 with Rust. I'm gonna tap that first on the outer part of this corner and start to work my way up to the crease, then sweeping in. Hello hair. I think Rubbish and Rust are a great pairing for a soft ish type of a daily eye, I would consider this still very smoky. So depending on your skin tone will determine the intensity of these shadows depending on how they're paired and layered. But I think that's some nice smoke, yeah? All right, I'm going in with tarnish. Let's see what we got. Okay, not bad at all. These metallics are smoother. They have more butteriness to them. They don't separate on the lid. The pigments stay intact. Thank God, it's about time. I mean, that's what we just always wanted from Mel, okay? With their palettes. That's all we only really wanted. We're not asking for much. I'm just tapping rust on the edges of tarnish to make that transition appear more seamless. Antique with my Sonergy Crease Pro. Lower lash line Shreep. Hero with my Sonergy Pencil Pro. Get some of that yellow, that dandelion yellow on the inner lower corner. Refer P21 with Hot. I'm gonna tap off a little bit and just punch that right on the base of the lashes because I wanted to show how you can incorporate a deeper shade from the palette without it being smoked out like this. You can still add a little more depth and intensity at least to your lashes, and I think that's a great color to do this with. Either Rot or Mar, and it doesn't have to be winged out either. I'm just taking it right to the end and you're done. Rubbish with my Refer number 14. Rust with my Esam W23. Redox with my Refer number 3. I wanted to get some of that other bronze here in the picture, and man, is that pretty. Tapping Classic with the same Refer number 3 on the inner corner. Oh, that really packed a punch. I didn't need to put that much on the brush. Sorry. All right, friends, let's slap on some lashes and I'll be right back. Here are the finished look, friends. On the lashes, I have Ardell Naked Lashes in 421, and you can see the lids on both. I'm happy we went with an all matte look on this eye, just so you can see you could achieve a lighter, more peachy tone look with some of the mattes here, and then you could definitely go more smoky and with the metallic shade on this eye. I wanted to quickly demo using one of the lipsticks. I'm going to take some of 1969 on the back of my hand, taking Pat Sublime Duo Brush and just tapping that right on the apples of the cheeks. And that's a nice tone to wear on the cheeks, absolutely. Unfortunately, the lipsticks do have a scent to them. It's like a minty caramel. I can't even describe the type of scent, but it's, hello, you're gonna focus on me? It's definitely there, so if you don't favor that, then I wouldn't apply this on your face, but that's a really nice peachy tone to the cheeks. Taking my Mented Cosmetics lip liner in Brand Nude, and then with 1969. Ooh, that is very peachy. A little bit of dope taupe on the outer corners. That's nice. If you mix 1969 with a more brown tone nude, I think if you pop it right on the center of the lip, it could really give a beautiful pouty look. If I wore this primarily, I think it will look too peachy on me without any help from my other lip liner and lipstick nude shades. But yeah, what do you think? I love this eye. I love how we went all matte and primarily with the yellow mustard and peachy shades here. And this is a beautiful spring-like look. I think it's different, right? Because there is some of that rust in there. I think these tones are still full-bodied enough to pull that theme. But this, for sure, I mean, this is classic. You could do this every day. If you are a neutral lover fiend, then this combination is for you, absolutely. So the next two looks, we're gonna go deeper, we're gonna go smokier and more rusty, and definitely use this gel liner. So with that said, friends, I'll be right back. I want to go in strong with this one, friends. Let's take your road and use that as a transition. Even my Esam G34. It's a great color. It's a great color. Now I want to go in with Rust as the transition shade on this eye, because I think this is going to be our smoky eye, and see what we can get from this matte. You could very well just apply this whole matte on the eye and have like a beautiful terracotta all matte smoky look. Just smoothing it on there. Using a little bit of Rubbish to smooth out the edges of rust. Really nice gradient that created. That's great. Now with Mar, using that as our smoky outer corner moment with our Isom S33. See what we can do here and perhaps use the Burnish gel pot for a wing liner. This is a great shade. I'm just taking my time whipping it through because eventually I want to start taking it out a little bit. That's a great shade. I have to say I'm pretty impressed that it didn't look patchy because sometimes, as you know, when we layer melt matte, sometimes this could look uneven, patchy, disconnected, and just weird. That looks nice. A little bit of erode here right on the edges to kind of blur that out. Redox with my Refer P21. I want to see how these metallics serve, act, perform with a brush application. That's not bad at all. I would rather use my finger because I feel I'm just going to get more stick. I like to press first and then tap to blend out. That's really great. I love that so much. And a beautiful pairing with Mar. Taking tarnish that gold bronze now with my Isom W21 on the inner part of the eye, because this will be a beautiful light to medium gradient, and the tarnish shade will look gorgeous as an inner corner highlight moment. And that's a beautiful transition. Using my S33 to just sweep away remnants of redox so that could look a little more smooth. Taking my Sigma E06 wing liner brush, have burnish on the back of my hand so we can maybe do a little something here. And of course, I'm using like the weirdest position to apply this with. This is very moussey in texture, so I feel it glides on beautifully, but you have to tap back on some of the pigment. And I'm just sweeping in from the out portion. I think that's pretty good. That's the best that I'm going to do right now because my arm is crossed in front of my chest and it's not an ideal setup for a wing. Putting something a little here. That's not bad. I think we did all right. That's a great color. Yes. This though we're gonna go ham with. Mar with my Refer number 14, punching that on, then whipping it in towards the crease. Some burnish with my unit 117 and just tapping that on the majority of the lid. Oh, that is a gorgeous color, and I of course picked up too much from the pot. Careful, a little goes a long way. You just need to tap it lightly, like lightly. And then I'm using my S33 to just whip the edges because once this sets down, that's it, it's staying. Now with Rot 2 with my okay, I was not ready, as I was saying, S33 to further smoke this out, just whipping it through the crease to even out that blend. Ravage on the inner part of the eye. Was that a right thing to do? Ravage on the majority of the inner corner, but now I want to go back in with some of Burnish, tap it in towards the lid so it could appear more of the Burnish shade and not the Ravage shade. Going back with my units 117 to make that happen, and also over Rot. Mar across the crease, Ravage more so on the inner part of the eye, whipping the edges here so they could appear softened. Rust, lower lash line. Mar, out of third. Rot, stamping out a third, tapping around the edges here, being really careful to not sweep it out all the way. A little bit of Rot with my Refer number 14 so I could blur those edges. And of course tarnished right here. Erode under this lash line. Mar just a little bit here on the outer third. Redox here on the lower inner third. Tarnish on the inner corner. All right, friends, let's slap on some lashes and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of the finished looks on the lashes. I have Ardell Wispies in the style 700, and you can see better up close how the colors melt into one another, the blend and everything else in between. And here is the final look on the lips. I have the Velvet Matte by Lisa Eldridge in Velvet Midnight. This Burnish gel pot liner is extraordinary. I did not know I would find so much use from this color, from this shade. It just meshes so well with all the shades in the palette, and I'm so happy with how this look turned out. I could have made this more hazy, as Laura likes to do. She loves to take her matte shades way down low and make it look really like sickly and smoky, which I love too. I wasn't as adventurous today, but there's always a next time. All in all, friends, I'm really happy with Rust. I am so happy I bought this freaking palette. I'm happy about the whole set. Definitely the best 10-pan eyeshadow palette from Melt thus far, and I'm happy it's with the Rust theme. Their Rust stack is one of their best-selling, one of the most iconic curations, still sells well to this day, and to have additional shades within that color story, inspired by the color story, is phenomenal. And I was so happy with how these mattes blended. And this is, listen, in the scheme of things, right, with all mattes that we've encountered from my favorite brands, 100% we can argue that Natasha Denona has better mattes, that Pat has better mattes. Viseart, of course, Viseart is my favorite matte formula of all time, and I feel, yes, still better than Melt because you can layer them, and the formula is just a little more sophisticated in that you can achieve that level of intensity in different layers and it will just appear richer in color. But from what we've experienced in the Melt palettes, however, the mattes here in Rust are phenomenal. I loved how they blended. I loved how they layered. I mean, the depth of this shade, that's insane. And everything looks beautifully smooth. I'm just so especially happy with those metallics. The metallics came through on this palette. I am beyond pleased. Can they still be better? Absolutely. They can still be better. I would love a better brush application if I don't want to feel like using my finger, or people don't like using their fingers applying the shimmers, then they can still do brush or finger. So I still feel there's a little more improvement room, but Ravage I feel is a good metallic. I know we didn't apply that all over the lid. I kind of just want to come on here and do more looks because I have the time now. We'll do more looks with this palette, absolutely. Again, one of their best. One of their best. If you decide to get this after everything is back to kind of normal, it'll be a while, but when that time comes and you're still thinking about it, I actually am very happy to say that this is worth $58. Not to say that it's not expensive. Definitely still expensive for indie. You have to really love these shades and use this palette thoroughly, but as you saw, you could achieve really like a wide spectrum of looks in terms of intensity. Daily friendly, springy like, smoky for events, for red carpet. And with these tones, it's just a nice escape from your typical neutral tone type of browns. These have like red mustardy tones to them. I feel just livens up the look, adds different character to the look. And also, if you want, I could compare the mustard shade in Gemini with Rubbish. I could do that on a community post. Easy peasy. The lipsticks I'm not going to use as much because those shades I don't use very often, but it's a steal. I mean, they threw the two lipsticks in there. If you were going to buy the shadow palette and gel pot together anyway, might as well just save some money and get the whole kit, because it just doesn't make sense to get them separately and pay extra. You know what I'm saying? When the kit is only 70 bucks. Please let me know if you grabbed Rust, what you think about it, the comparisons you've observed with your other eyeshadow palettes. And until then, friends, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, favorites of the month, get ready with me, or Friday night chit chat. And this time around, Wednesday yay night chit chats as well. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.